Hello there, everyone. Hi, my name is Umbrided Ambition. That's you just call me UA if you'd like. I also go by Lightning Eagle on another channel, but we'll just keep to this. I am an artist that has sold at multiple conventions, probably over 10 now, 15 maybe at this point. I've even made it on the news at one point for my artwork. I have made comics, manga, for comics, manga, yada yada yada. I have a demo for a game currently. I sell a lot of pinup prints and stickers and keychains. And this is my way of kind of getting back out there a little bit more, especially because social media is so tough, and also providing you with a little something that might be helpful. This is one of my first videos ever for the tutorial stuff, so we're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna end up drawing my OC from my comic Chaos X Base. Only read it if you're over 18. Appreciate that. Thank you. It's on Global Comics and on my coffee. But I'm gonna show you guys how I normally draw the body, mostly the torso in this video. It won't get super technical. If you would like more like technical proportions, how many heads or whatever else, let me know, because that's how I got started. But just simplistic, as you've probably seen in other videos. One of the easiest ways to draw the torso is kind of the bean method. So we have a medium-sized circle like oval here. Even doing that fast is probably a lot, so I do apologize for doing that a little quickly. And then you can think of this as a sideways oval, right? Specifically for female torsos. For male torsos, you might get a little bit more of an upper larger egg here, or almost like a square might be a little better, and then like a lower square. But we're going to be focusing on female torsos because that's what I do best. If you guys want dudes, let me know. We can do that later. But yeah, these kind of differences. What this does, it adds to your curve shape here. This is not an every female body type guide. That'd be silly. Curvaceous, curvy, chubbier. There's so many different body types you could play around with, even on the skinnier side too. And I think it's best not to limit yourself. I'm one of those draw what you kind of like sort of people, and also experiment occasionally. I think that's really good for you. But yeah, so we're going to go with this bean method. However, we're going to break it down into a way that makes it easier. So a big issue that I find with a lot of beginner artists is their work turns very flat. I feel like they're just kind of drawing this. They don't really know why. They just know, like, if you think of most cartoons, if you're drawing like a cartoon lady, kind of get one of these, right? You get one of these kind of stick figure silhouettes of a woman rather than really understanding how the bones and the curves and the fat pockets and different things work. Even for myself, if we go anything any more technical, I have to break it down into better explanations. But we can keep it simple for you people who just want to like sit down and just draw something and practice something, right? So we have our bean method. The chest will always kind of be a longer bean. So we have like a longer but thinner bean, typically. For people's rib cages, I don't think they get much larger normally, but I'm not a doctor. And then for the waist, especially with women, women have, on average, larger hip bones than males do. So here we go here. And when I'm talking about this stuff again, for everyone in my art community, I know we can be a little bit more, we're just talking about people's like biological sex, not what they identify for. Just that. Just throwing that out here just so people know I'm not being a dickhead about it, right? Just that. All right, we're good. All right, we got this, yeah, and then we got here. Okay, so not as long or not as tall, but longer for the waist, and then we have longer here, but not as wide here. Now, the one thing for the head is you will have to understand proportions for it. I normally just leave a little gap for where the neck is going to be at from the torso. And again, we can get the specific numbers at a certain point. There are multiple proportions, and depending on the age of the character, that can very much change what we scale up to. I'm sure for the majority, and if you haven't, this is good to search. I'm sure most of you guys know about like the 8-head method. So like the body here should be about like there's one head, it's like 2 heads near the chest, 3 heads near the belly button, and then the 4th head at the crotch, and then we go 1 more, 2 more, 3, and 4. I'm gonna count this 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The knees would be at like the halfway point for here, and the legs would be a halfway point for here. And it can seem funny with like, oh man, we're drawing little stick figures, but just even knowing this information while you're drawing mentally is very helpful. So we're going to do our first torso. We're going to draw Aerie. Can I give you guys an example of Aerie real quick? Hold up. We're going to draw Aerie. She is a Mifu. I pause there for all you people who go, wait a minute. She is a space warrior who believes that chaos is the natural order of the world. Here's my artwork of her from before. We're not doing this level of detail, but believes chaos is natural order of the world, is fighting the Hagi, who believe that order is the right way of the world, so much so that they designed an AI in order to give everybody in the universe basically their jobs, what they're supposed to be doing with their lives, and etc. If you're curious, there are 4 chapters free to read online, probably around the point I post this, but we're drawing her. So as I have an idea what she looks like, I'm going to pull up a reference for myself so I can just see my own character. I like to be very specific. I'll get really mad if I don't, don't draw the same way. So the way that we're going to do this and construct the body, we're going to give her like a side profile here, is we want cubes. And you might be asking yourself, well, why cubes? We want 3D shapes that basically give us the perspective of the character. Otherwise, if you just draw a flat square, you have no idea kind of where the body's orientation is, or it's just going to feel flat and straight on. Because like this looks like a person looking at you straight on, right? You don't see any of the sides of their body. Even if you were to like grab your phone in front of you and then just tilt it, yeah, if you tilt it, one side disappears and the other one becomes wider, right? If you tilt it to the left, the right's going to be very visible and the left is completely gone if you go all the way. If you tilt it to the right, you can see the left side, whatever else. And this also allows us to make our artwork feel a little bit more full by having things that go behind it in 3D space, like this shoulder here. So I normally like to draw the chest as a rectangular box, prism, whatever you would call this, 3D rectangle, yeah. I'll keep the head a circle. I don't tend to like to do too much. You could also rectangle this, so you know what side of the face is. I'll do that too. I'll work with this here, but a circle works fine once you have a grasp of it. Okay. This also tells me, while I'm looking at this rectangle, that this is underneath, this is underneath, this is the side we're seeing, this is the side we're seeing, and I can't see the side. So that gives us a lot of detail as well. Then we're going to add another rectangle. I find these quite relaxing just because a lot of the body flows into itself. The more art you do, the more appreciation you get for the human form and stuff. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating as a pinup artist because people just assume, oh, the Gagooner. But like, there's a lot of relaxing process to this. So like from this part of the chest, right, we can put a line here in the middle. This would be our rib cage. Put a separation at the bottom of the rib cage here. It's like a little trapezoid shape. There, little trapezoid shape. This kind of bends into itself. Again, we can go into more detail later. This is just like a first time video. Just seeing how this goes. We can put a little circle here in the middle. This really doesn't have too much, in my opinion, with the form. Honestly, sometimes it can get a little confusing. I just like to have this here so I can have like a distance in my mind. And because there's no bony structure right here. Whereas the hip, we're going to add another rectangle, and we're going to keep the sides of the same planes the same. So like this plane, and then the equivalent to that one is this plane. And then for this plane, the equivalent is this plane. Yeah. And we can keep the top here. We can talk about perspectives and eye level at some point and yada 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 yada, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So we just made 2 rectangles. And even right now, it's feeling a little bit more like the form. Here, you can add the arm. The arm to the elbow, you can basically just make a cylinder, and it only needs to go to about where the end of the rib cage is. Your elbow, actually, or most people's elbows, go right to where your rib cage ends. And then your hand, we draw like another circle here for your arm with the start of the arm, and then another cylinder at the base of it. That'll work pretty alright. I've used all these things to make constructions for bodies. And here, we can add like a little trapezoid to represent the hand. And that goes normally to where the crotch is at. So I'm going to start adding some landmarks. The crotch is actually a lot easier to tell where you're at when you start doing that. I'm going to put the line here. I usually put the belly button around at the edge of this rectangle I'm putting, right? Put that right here. And then we can start connecting things. So the edges of the hip here, so these like little points or corners, I use as markers for the hip bone typically. So we have a little there, that gives it a little more flavor. Now here's the thing that I've learned that took me a really long time to get, even though it's very simple, and that is you as an artist have to understand how to feel the form. And it is, I've seen a lot of artists do very different things. I've seen people do kind of like a squeeze in method, which I don't tend to like as much. It's a little harder if you draw characters a little chubbier around here, but this can be fun if you learn how to do it right. I'm still learning that one a little bit more. But for your silhouette, superhero, yada yada sort of build, I like to do just a line going in like this, and then coming out, and then another almost coming off of that. So this is kind of the same direction. It might have a little bit of an extra to it, but this should be coming down. So it feels like it flows on to our pelvic bone. Yeah. I can do the same thing with the arm here. Part of the arm, so part of the cylinder is going to be hidden behind our square because it's in perspective. Let's go here. Go there. Also, I apologize if my sketching is a bit messy. I tend to erase as I go. And then we'll probably copy the same rules I did beforehand, which is this is around the same length as the pelvis. Cool. So that's there. I can add a little neck, and then I can erase as we go, or I'll polish it up as we go. Now, Aerie does have wider hips, so I will add a little extra here for myself, but that goes per character. Not as much on this side, since we're not really seeing, but I will add it here. Now, for me, sometimes the legs get tricky. I feel like I reinvent the way that I draw the legs like all the time, and you will have that over time. You'll use part of the method I'm teaching you, and then you'll learn from another guy a method that you really like, and you'll keep evolving as you go. With legs and arms, so sometimes I'll draw the cylinders like this, and sometimes I'll just draw lines, just so I have an idea of what I want the arms to do. Sometimes it's better to you do the whole square, rectangle, this does not have to be perfect. Being perfect is kind of the killer of all creativity. Trust me, I know, I do it too often, even if my art is not. And then I can just add personality to this, because I'm not thinking so hard about like, oh, it's going to be a perfect cylinder. And then I can just add them later. Right? I can just add them later. But here, at the legs, what I like to keep for the form is I like to have a line that kind of goes bending out. So bending this way, I'm going to bend. And then coming in, basically. And what this does, maybe we'll have a video about this if you're curious. There are plenty of videos about it. It gives us an S-curve, which is really like visually pleasing. S-curves and C-curves tend to give you that kind of feeling. So I'm going to add that here. Cylinders work again for this. You can have a cylinder here. And I can make this a little flatter. You can add a ball here in the middle for the knee. And then another cylinder that kind of gets tapered down. And you see I'm bending it a bit, but it's still just a cylinder. Still just a cylinder. that's still there. So we have that, and then I'll go for this one as well. And if you use Clip Studio like I do, a cool part is you do have models in this. I don't really care if people are tracing the models themselves or whatever else. People are going to have their whatever about it, but like, as long as you learn how to do it freehand, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think people freak out about like, oh, you're not doing art the right way because I learned how to do it this way. And most of the people on that, they're not talking to professional people. Most professional people are taking mild shortcuts, not huge shortcuts, but mild ones, just so they can cut time because they already know what they're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna erase some parts, and when we erase, I didn't even change anything. It's already looking more like a person. These are the armpits going from the pectorals. Pecs have their own thing. They come down here, left, up, down. Everybody has them. Women have them. It's just typically they're being, or for some more endowed women, they're getting covered up a bit by fat pockets. So, which we call boobs. That's not the most correct term for that, but we're gonna go for where I'm at because this is my first video for this, so I apologize. Cutting this off, I like to show off a little bit of the butt, a little cheekiness, makes you look a little fit. I'm gonna put here the lines, take away this. I'm gonna erase part of the box that we don't need to see because we don't normally see the back of the rib cage. This is illustrating like the inside and the back of it, so I can get rid of that. I'll zoom in a bit so we can see a little better. The face we'll get to in a minute. I mainly wanted to do this for the body, and then I can go over face stuff if you like later. My faces are a little interesting sometimes, but you know, go here, go here, go here, go here. There are great channels, Proco, Jazza. There's like channels right now whose names I can't remember. I'm a big fan of Reki, Art Germ. Art Germ's the reason why I started doing art. But there are plenty of channels that go over a lot of different tutorials, and I always believe in find what works best for you. And don't listen to anybody else if you feel like their method's not working for you, because otherwise you're not gonna have fun doing it. Getting rid of the back of the rib cage here. And you see, the more that we just kind of polish out, the more we will be able to just have the body be here without even having to do as much work. I will tighten some things up, like I might make the rib cage a bit smaller. That tends to be visually pleasing with like a larger hip span. I can add in details for the hands, but hands is their own bag of themselves that I still hate at my level. So if you currently do not like drawing hands, that is the trade secret of being an artist. That's the fun part. You never get used to or enjoy doing it a ton unless you have a hand fetish. And there are people. One of my favorite jokes is that a lot of women have hand fetishes. I'm looking at you asphyxiation queens, and a lot of dudes have foot fetishes. And I don't know if that's a thing for any particular reasons. And hey, if you break the stereotype, women who like feet or dudes who love hands, hey, write it down in the comments. I'd love to make the joke and crack me up. Oh my god, that little thumbs here. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm being stupid. All right. Since we're drawing women here, I can add a little thing to outline the stomach here. We can put a line down to kind of illustrate where the abs are at. Because this is a rounder, we have that like sphere in the middle. Because it's a rounder shape, I can bend it. Like bend it a little bit. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of this portion because we wouldn't normally see. Some parts of the body you wouldn't see unless the person is very skinny. That took me a while to learn because I am skinny and I could see it on myself. And I went, well, why does everybody think this is looking weird? And I went, oh, it's because most people don't see this. I'm just really thin. We just added the knees. The knees don't have to be drawn that well. You figure out how you want to draw your knees. For me, I keep it to a very simple line on the side, and the implication does enough. There's like a bone up here and a bone down here, but we're not getting super technical right now. We're getting on, hey man, how can I draw this like really fast just today? And that's okay. We just do a line. Just do a line. And that's cool. All right, that's cool. All right, so we have this. We have this torso. It's kind of there. Now, there are multiple ways to draw breasts and to make them feel more okay or whatever else, yada yada. If you look at my art, I tend to draw them on the larger side. I'm just biased. One sad thing for me was I didn't even realize how much I was doing it. I just like larger breasts. That's just what it is, right? Or I tend to. It's really the shape. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not getting into the boob conversations, okay? But there are simple ways to make this a little easier for yourself and shortcuts that people use. One I like is the upside down heart method. So you go from where the neck is, you come down, and you kind of make yourself a heart shape, but you kind of overlap the butt part of the heart. So imagine you have the heart here, right? And then we have the butt shape like in the middle of the heart, right? And if you turn it, let's say these are like two spheres here. That looks crazy. Two spheres here, yes. They're gonna overlap on each other. So like it's gonna start doing like a solar eclipse. Like imagine this is the sun, right? This is the sun. This will start blocking this out the more you end up turning to the side. If they're less turned to the side, then they're going to stop like covering each other up as much. This goes for the butt. This goes for, it doesn't really go for pecs as much because pecs aren't as like out there. But if you get really big pecs, you will cover a bit of it. If you look at like Goku or something, his pecs will start to slowly overlap, but not as much. Not as much. But yeah, there you go. This is still a crazy image, so I'm going to get rid of this one so YouTube doesn't flag me, but that one is hilarious. There we go here. So we have that there for the chest. Oh, one other thing that helps a lot, as you can see, I have these on 2 different layers. That way I can come back and then I can choose when I want to erase things or when I want to repolish stuff up in another layer. Again, as an artist, there's not really a wrong way to do this. There are artists who do everything on one layer and they get everything done and they're amazing, and I can hear like angels sing when they draw and I go, why can't I do that? And then there are people like me who are angels singing right now because I don't think they're singing. Okay, so we have those there. For the feet, we can make this really simple, especially because a lot of you guys are going to draw your characters wearing shoes. You want me to show you how to draw feet? Put a like in here. Can I get like 100 subscribers on my first video? If you do that, maybe we'll go over the feet thing. I'll go crazy or something. I hate, drawing feet would be such a pain in the butt. So, very simple like shape for the foot. I don't even know what we call this. We've got another cube-ish like shape. Or prism trapezoid like shape, you know? You can basically just add this to the bottom. One side's a little shorter than this side. And you really have the equivalent of a foot. This makes like drawing Converse like shoes really easy on characters. Yeah, you have to look about like the ankle bone and yada yada yada, but we're looking for shorthands. I think learning shorthands is really important because you're blocking out the shapes. Most channels are going to tell you to learn to block out the shapes and get your shapes down, your shape language. And the reason why is because shapes are what let you understand perspective. If you try drawing everything at once, you're going to go nuts, okay? Listen to me. You're going to go crazy. You're going to go crazy, and I'm trying to save you, and you're going to go crazy. Okay. So we're going to do that. I'm going to erase part of the foot like we did beforehand. And I'll just imply the ankle here. I can keep like a shoe on. She doesn't really wear these kind of shoes, but we can, it's airy, but she's like casual-ish or something. Let me add these like bottoms here. Sometimes I draw shoes that literally just have like a little bottom on the bottom of it. The funny thing about these kind of YouTube channels is I feel like a lot of artists get better because they're being forced to draw stuff that they don't normally do because they have to do it for a video. And it's kind of hilarious. I love when I can tell. Alright, so it's there. It's there. Cool. We have a pretty confident pose right now. She's looking real confident. Alright, so that's basically how you can end up just drawing the figure. there's a lot of notes here. I'll save this just in case anybody actually wants these. I don't know if I'm gonna put them in the description down below. If I get some comments, that'd be cool. I'm gonna tweak this up a bit and draw my character, and then we'll be back. And you can let me know in the comments if you have any more questions. This is again like a short sketch. It's less than 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, one or the other. The level of complication can go from this. I'm gonna get rid of this real quick, just because it's bugging me. Looks like armpit hair. You can go from like this to here. So, depending on how much time, effort, this takes me like 10 something hours. So if you want one of these videos, very much show me that you were the one of those videos with the time and effort, because that one takes a lot. But even for my sketch like here, or can I grab a page? It isn't as risque. Yeah, complexity can change depending on just how you're drawing the character. Yeah, time, place, energy. Obviously, go back over it. You lighten everything, go over line art. Line art's a different video, a different topic. But if you're just looking on how to draw the body or how to get anything that looks closer or similar like my own, well, there you go. Those are usually the steps that I take. You get level of polish depending on how much time you put into it, and I would just recommend studying, you know. My videos aren't the only ones here. This is my first video for this. Oh, here's a torso I drew earlier before I started this. But basic construction shapes can get you very far. Very far. And if you want a more in-depth look or more detailed look, please again let me know. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. If this was helpful, let me know. If it wasn't helpful, let me know. If you say, oh my god, this was absolutely awful and I hate you for doing this and wasting my time, let me know. And if you do read the manga Chaos Egg Space on Global Comics or my coffee, remember it'd be over 18. I'd very much appreciate that. Leave that comment below and let me know which one of the Mifu is your favorites. But yeah, no, appreciate you guys. Have a good one, and bye-bye.